Dawn broke over Fort Bragg like a wound opening across the Carolina sky. Master Sergeant Daniel Cross stood alone in his quarters, the kind of alone that comes not from empty rooms, but from empty arms. In his hands, a photograph. His daughter Emma, 19 years old in the picture, blonde hair catching summer light, the smile that could disarm anyone, even her old man. She had been gone 2 years now. Drunk driver. Tuesday afternoon, she was coming home from college for Thanksgiving break. Cross set the photo down with the careful precision of a man who had learned that gentleness could not undo what had already shattered. The mirror across the room showed him what remained. 48 years old, gray threading through dark hair, a scar running from left temple to jaw, courtesy of Kandahar. Eyes that had seen too many friends die and one daughter buried. His phone vibrated against the wooden desk. The screen showed Colonel Martinez. Cross answered on the second ring. "We have a situation," Martinez said without preamble. "Thomas Hayes' daughter just showed up at selection." The name hit Cross like a fist to the sternum. Thomas Hayes, Delta Force, best friend, dead 3 years in Yemen on a mission Cross had commanded. A mission that went wrong in ways that still woke Cross at 3 in the morning, sweating through his sheets. "She registered?" Cross asked, keeping his voice level. "Cleared medical yesterday. She starts today." "Daniel, this is the pilot program. First all-female Delta selection class. DOD is watching. Media is watching. If Hayes' daughter washes out in the first week, it becomes a story. If she succeeds, it becomes a different story. Either way, we need to handle this carefully." Cross looked at Emma's photograph again. 19. The same age Hayes' girl would be now. He had never met her. Hayes kept families separate from the work, but he talked about her. The way fathers do when they believe their daughters hung the moon. "I'll handle it," Cross said. "I know you will. But Daniel, this program is not just about her. We have 47 candidates. Most will fail. That is the design. Delta is not meant to be easy, but the ones who make it, they need to earn it. No shortcuts, no special treatment, not even for Hayes' daughter." "Understood. And Daniel? She does not know about Yemen, about what really happened. Keep it that way until we have more." Cross ended the call and stood. The day outside grew brighter, unforgiving in its clarity. Somewhere on this base, Thomas Hayes' daughter was preparing to walk into a crucible designed to break women and men twice her size. Cross strapped on his watch, laced his boots, and walked out into the morning that promised nothing but hard truths. The selection compound sat 2 miles from main base, built specifically for this pilot program. Department of Defense had approved the initiative 6 months ago after years of pressure from Congress and advocacy groups. The argument was simple. Women had proven themselves in combat. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. They had bled. They had died. They had earned the right to try for the most elite units. The program was called FORGE, Female Operator Readiness and Growth Evaluation. 4 weeks. Same standards as male selection. Same obstacles. Same expectations. The only difference was the candidates. 47 women had arrived. They came from different branches, different backgrounds, the same desperate hunger in their eyes. They wanted this, needed it, the way addicts need the next fix. Cross drove his truck through the gate at 0600. The candidates were already assembled in formation on the parade ground. He parked, grabbed his clipboard, and walked toward them with the stride of a man who had earned every scar on his body and expected the same from everyone under his command. 47 women, ages 18 to 32. Different branches, different backgrounds, the same desperate hunger in their eyes. They wanted this, needed it, the way addicts need the next fix. Cross stopped 10 feet from the formation. Let the silence stretch. It was a test, the first of many. See who fidgeted, who looked away, who broke. Most held. A few wavered. His eyes moved across the ranks and stopped. Front row, left side, small frame, maybe 5'3", blonde hair pulled tight in a regulation bun, pale skin that suggested she had spent more time indoors than out. But her eyes, green and unwavering, looking straight ahead with the kind of focus Cross recognized. She looked exactly like Emma, not in features. Emma had been taller, darker, but in that expression, the set of her jaw, the way she held herself despite being the smallest person in formation, like she had something to prove and God himself could not stop her. Cross forced his eyes to keep moving, completed his inspection, returned to center. "My name is Master Sergeant Daniel Cross," he said. His voice carried across the silent parade ground. "For the next 4 weeks, I will be your primary instructor. Some of you think you know what hard is. You do not. Some of you think you are tough. You are not. Some of you believe you deserve to be here. You do not. But he paused. Let it sink in. You will earn it every single day, or you will go home. This is not regular army. This is not about meeting minimums. This is about exceeding maximums, about pushing past what you think is possible and finding what actually is. The standards are the same as male selection. We do not lower bars. We do not make accommodations. You either meet the standard or you fail. Clear? Silence. Then a unified response. Yes, Sergeant. First exercise begins in 30 minutes. Obstacle course. 2 miles. Full gear. Anyone not across the finish line in 15 minutes goes home. Dismissed. The formation broke. Controlled chaos as women scattered toward the barracks to gear up. Cross watched them go, clipboard in hand, making notes he would not need. He had already identified the quitters, the overconfident, the ones who would make it interesting, and the small blonde in the front row who had not moved until everyone else had, who walked with the economy of motion that spoke of real training, not gym workouts. Lieutenant Ryan Mitchell appeared at Cross's shoulder. 26 years old, Asian American. Delta qualified for 2 years. Good operator, better teacher. Cross had requested him specifically for this program. Sir, Mitchell said quietly. That's her, isn't it? Hayes' daughter? Lena Hayes, Cross confirmed, reading from the roster. 19, enlisted 8 months ago. Completed basic and AI with top honors. Scored expert on rifle qualification. Perfect PT scores. No disciplinary issues. Volunteered for Forge the day applications opened. She looks like she weighs 100 pounds soaking wet. 115 according to her file. Mitchell watched Lena disappear into the barracks. Think she'll make it past today? Cross did not answer immediately. He was remembering Thomas Hayes, the way the man moved through the world with quiet confidence. Never the loudest in the room, never needed to be. Just competent, lethally so, and apparently he had passed something to his daughter. We will see, Cross said finally. The obstacle course at Fort Bragg was not designed for success. It was designed to reveal. 10-foot walls, rope climbs, monkey bars over water pits, barbed wire crawls through mud, cargo net climbs that left hands bleeding. All of it under full combat load. Helmet, body armor, weapon, 60 pounds minimum. The candidates assembled at the start line. Cross stood on an elevated platform where he could see the entire course. Mitchell was positioned at the halfway point. 3 other instructors covered the rest. Cross looked at his watch. 0630. Begin. They exploded forward in a mass of motion and noise. The first 100 meters was a sprint to thin the pack. Then came the walls. Cross watched women throw themselves at obstacles with more determination than technique. Some made it. Most did not on the first attempt. A few did not on the 5th. Lena Hayes ran in the middle of the pack, not pushing for the lead, not falling behind, steady, controlled. When she hit the first wall, Cross saw the problem immediately. She was too short to reach the top. Her fingers missed by inches. She did not panic, did not waste energy jumping repeatedly like others. Instead, she stepped back, studied the wall, then moved to the support beam on the left side, used it to climb diagonally, reached the top, pulled herself over. Unorthodox, but effective. Mitchell's voice crackled over the radio. Hayes just solved the rope climb problem. Cross switched his view to the rope section. The rope hung 20 feet above a water pit. Standard climb, except Lena had wrapped the rope around her leg in a J-hook configuration, technique used by smaller climbers to compensate for upper body strength. She ascended smooth and fast. By the time the pack reached the barbed wire crawl, Lena had moved into the top 15. She dropped to her stomach and low crawled through the mud with her weapon cradled across her forearms. No wasted movement, no stopping. Cross made a note on his clipboard. Hayes, Lena, resourceful, adapts quickly. The same notes he had made about her father 12 years ago. The finish line loomed at 14 minutes. Most of the pack would not make it. Cross counted them as they crossed. 18 women, then 20. At 14 minutes and 40 seconds, Lena Hayes stumbled across, covered in mud, breathing hard but controlled. She was 23rd. Not first, not last. Exactly where someone smart would finish on day 1. Cross allowed them 5 minutes to recover, then assembled them again. 27 of you made the time, he announced. 20 did not. Those 20 will pack their gear and be on a transport by noon. The rest of you have earned one more day. Do not waste it. He dismissed them, watched them limp toward the barracks. Exhausted, hurting, questioning every decision that led them here. Cross waited until they had gone before he returned to his office. The small space was Spartan, desk, chair, filing cabinet. On the wall, a single photograph. His old team. Afghanistan. 2015. 12 men. Thomas Hayes stood third from the left, grinning under his helmet, still alive, still believing the mission mattered. Cross sat at his desk and opened the locked drawer on the right side. Inside was a manila envelope. Classified. Colonel Martinez had given it to him 3 days ago with explicit instructions. Do not open until Hayes' daughter arrives. Then decide. Cross broke the seal. Inside was a letter, handwritten, Thomas Hayes' script. The letter began, Daniel, if you are reading this, I am dead and Lena has joined the service. I need you to do something for me. Cross read the rest in silence. Twice. Then a third time. When he finished, he carefully refolded the letter and placed it back in the envelope. He sat for a long time, staring at nothing, thinking about promises made to dead friends and daughters who looked like ghosts. There was a knock at his door. Enter. Lena Hayes stepped inside, still covered in mud, still wearing her gear. She stood at attention 3 feet from his desk. At ease, Cross said. She shifted to parade rest, but her spine remained rigid. Up close, Cross could see the resemblance more clearly. Not to Emma, to Thomas, the shape of her eyes, the set of her mouth, the way she held herself like she was made of compressed springs. Sergeant, Lena said. Her voice was quiet but steady. Permission to speak freely? Cross nodded. I know you served with my father, she said. I know you were there when he died. I am not asking for special treatment. I am not asking for information. I just wanted you to know that I am here to earn my place. Nothing more. Cross studied her. 19 years old, should be in college, should be worrying about exams and boys and what to do with her life. Instead, she was standing in his office, covered in Carolina mud, asking for the chance to join one of the hardest professions on earth. Why are you here, Hayes? He asked. To serve, Sergeant. Bullshit. Half the people in that barracks are here to serve. You are here for a reason. What is it? Lena's jaw tightened. For a moment, Cross thought she would not answer. Then she spoke. My father taught me to shoot when I was 12, she said. We would go out to this range he built on our property in Montana. Middle of nowhere, just us and the wind and the targets. He taught me how to read the air, how to feel the rifle like it was part of my body, how to make the hard shots. She paused. He died before he could teach me why it mattered. So I am here to find out. Cross leaned back in his chair. The answer was honest, probably more honest than she intended. He opened his desk drawer and removed the envelope. Your father left this for you, Cross said. He gave it to me 11 months before he died. Instructions were to deliver it if you ever joined the military. Lena's eyes went to the envelope. Her hand trembled slightly as she reached for it. Read it later, Cross said. In private. Then decide if you still want to be here. Lena took the envelope and held it like it contained something sacred. Thank you, Sergeant. Dismissed. She saluted. He returned it. She left. Cross sat alone in his office and wondered if he had just made a terrible mistake or kept a promise he should have broken years ago. That night, Lena Hayes sat on her bunk in the empty barracks. The other candidates were at dinner. She had told them she was not hungry. It was not a lie. Her stomach was knotted too tight to accept food. The envelope rested in her lap, her name on the front in her father's handwriting. She had not seen that script in 3 years. Not since the Army chaplain came to the house in Montana with his sad eyes and his folded flag and his apologies that meant nothing. She opened the envelope with care. Inside was a single sheet of paper. The letter began, Lena, if you are reading this, you have decided to follow me into this life. I hoped you would not. But I know you. You are stubborn like your mother, brave like your grandfather, skilled like me, though I would never say it to your face. Lena's vision blurred. She blinked hard. The letter continued. By now you will have met Master Sergeant Daniel Cross. Trust him. He is a good man. He was with me at the end. Not many people know what really happened in Yemen. Cross does. When you are ready, ask him. He will tell you the truth. The next paragraph made her hands shake. I am writing this because I suspect I will not survive my next deployment. There are things happening, operations that do not make sense, orders that come from people who should not be giving them. I cannot explain in a letter, but if I die, it will not be an accident. Someone will have made a choice. Find out who. And Lena, if you find them, remember what I taught you. Be the shot, not the shooter. There is a difference. The letter ended. I love you. I am proud of you. Trust Cross, and do not let anyone make you into something you are not. Dad. Lena read it 3 times, then folded it carefully and placed it back in the envelope. She lay on her bunk and stared at the ceiling until the other candidates returned and the lights went out and sleep finally claimed her. In her dreams, she saw her father, standing on the Montana range, rifle in hand, smiling. When she called to him, he turned and walked away into the distance until he was just a shadow against the mountains. The next 5 days were designed to break bodies and spirits in equal measure. 20-mile ruck marches in full gear, pugil stick competitions, hand-to-hand combat training, sleep deprivation, stress positions. The crucible of selection churned through candidates like a thresher through wheat. By day 6, 32 candidates remained. Lena Hayes was still among them, battered, bruised, moving like every muscle had been replaced with barbed wire, but still standing. Cross watched her during hand-to-hand drills. She was paired against a woman 6 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier. Former college wrestler. The match should have been over in seconds. It lasted 2 minutes. Lena used leverage instead of strength, stayed low, waited for openings. When the wrestler shot for a takedown, Lena sprawled and took her back, applied a rear naked choke with textbook precision. The wrestler tapped out. Ryan Mitchell walked over to Cross. Where did she learn that? Her file says she trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 6 years, Cross replied. Her file is holding out on us. Cross agreed. There was something about the way Lena moved, not like a civilian who trained, like someone who had been taught by a professional. Someone who understood that combat was not about domination. It was about efficiency. Someone like Thomas Hayes. That evening, Cross pulled Lena aside after training. They walked to the edge of the compound where the tree line began. The sun was setting, turning the sky the color of old blood. You are doing well, Cross said. Thank you, Sergeant. Stop thanking me. You are earning it. They walked in silence. Cross was not good at this part. The talking, the relating. He had been a father once, but Emma had made it easy. She filled silences with laughter and stories and questions that had no answers. Lena was different. She carried silence like armor. I read the letter, Lena said finally. Cross nodded. What really happened in Yemen, she asked. Cross had known this question was coming, had rehearsed answers. None of them felt adequate now that the moment had arrived. He stopped walking, looked at this young woman who had her father's eyes and her father's courage and no idea what she was asking to know. Your father was on a mission to take out a high-value target, Cross began. Intelligence suggested the target would be at a compound outside Sana'a. We planned the operation for 3 weeks. Every detail, every contingency. Cross paused. The memory was sharp, clear, painful. We inserted at 0200. The target was there, but so was a platoon of militia we were not briefed about. We were outnumbered 4-1. Your father was on overwatch, half a mile out. He saw them moving to flank us. Lena's face was stone. He called it in, requested air support. We needed close air to even the odds. The request went up the chain. Someone gave wrong coordinates. The strike hit 200 meters from our position, killed 3 of my men, nearly killed me. Cross touched the scar on his face. In the chaos, militia overran your father's position. He fought, killed 6 of them. But there were too many. By the time we fought our way to him, he was gone. Who gave the wrong coordinates? Lena asked. Her voice was ice. That is still classified, Cross said. But your father suspected someone on our side, someone who wanted the mission to fail. Why? Because the target we killed that night was not just a terrorist. He was also a liaison between certain cartels and certain people in our government. People who profit from the drug trade. Your father found evidence. He was going to report it. Lena absorbed this in silence. Cross could see her processing, calculating, deciding what to believe. Do you have proof? She asked. Some, not enough. Your father had more, but he hid it. Told me he would hand it over when he got home. He never made it home. And you have been looking for it since. It was not a question. Cross nodded anyway. Why tell me this now? Lena asked. Because Colonel Martinez and I believe the person who gave those coordinates is still active, still dirty. And we think that person knows you are here. If they wanted your father dead, they might want you gone too. Lena's hand moved to her pocket, pulled out a folded piece of paper, handed it to Cross. He unfolded it. Block letters. Simple message. Leave or die like daddy. Cross's jaw tightened. When did you get this? It was on my bunk yesterday morning. Why did you not report it? Because I thought it was hazing, Lena said. I thought it would stop if I ignored it. This is not hazing, Cross said. This is a threat. You need to go to Martinez. Get pulled from the program. Go somewhere safe. No. Hayes, this is not a request. With respect, Sergeant, I am not leaving. Lena's voice was quiet but absolute. My father died because someone betrayed him. If that same person is afraid of me being here, it means I am on the right track. Or it means you are going to get killed. Then I will die knowing I tried. Cross looked at her, stubborn, determined. 19 years old and already willing to sacrifice everything for a principal. Just like her father. Just like Emma, who had volunteered at homeless shelters despite Cross warning her about the dangers. He could not protect Emma. She died anyway. But maybe he could protect this one. If you stay, Cross said slowly, you follow my orders, all of them. No exceptions. Understood? Yes, Sergeant. And we move fast. Martinez and I have been planning something. An operation. If you are willing, we use you to draw out whoever sent that note. But it is dangerous, possibly fatal. I am in. You do not even know what it is yet. Does not matter, Lorna said. If it helps find the truth, I am in. Cross studied her face, saw Thomas Hayes looking back at him, felt the weight of promises and ghosts and the way history repeats when you are not careful. Okay, he said, here is what we are going to do. Week 3 brought the final test. Live fire exercise. The kind of scenario that separated those who could shoot on a range from those who could shoot when lives depended on it. The course was designed to simulate a hostage rescue. Mannequins representing terrorists and civilians scattered through a mock village. Candidates would be paired. One would assault, one would provide overwatch. The goal was simple. Extract the hostage, neutralize all threats, 0 civilian casualties, 15 minutes. Lena was paired with Ryan Mitchell. Not random. Cross had arranged it. Mitchell was good, solid operator. If things went wrong, he would keep Lena alive. They stood at the start line, 0700, the sun already hot. Mitchell checked his weapon, a modified M4. Lena carried a designated marksman rifle, SR-25. Heavier than standard issue, longer range. The kind of weapon that required real skill. You ever done something like this before? Mitchell asked. No, Lena said. Stay calm, follow my lead. Call your shots before you take them. If you are not sure, do not shoot. Understood. Cross watched from the observation tower. He had 6 instructors positioned throughout the course. Cameras recorded everything. This was not just a test of Lena's skills. It was bait. If whoever threatened her was watching, they would see an opportunity. A live fire range. Blanks mixed with live rounds. Easy to make an accident look real. Cross had planned for that. Every round was logged. Every weapon inspected. If someone tried to kill Lena Hayes today, Cross would know who and how. The buzzer sounded. Mitchell moved forward. Lena took position on a raised platform 300 meters out. She settled into prone, adjusted her scope, scanned the course through her optic. Cross watched her, the way she settled, the way her breathing slowed. Like someone had thrown a switch and turned her from a scared teenager into something colder, more focused. Mitchell entered the first building. Targets popped up. He engaged. 2 shots, 2 hits, called clear. Lena's job was overwatch. Watch for threats Mitchell could not see. Cover his movement. 3 minutes in, a pop-up target appeared in a second-story window. Mitchell could not see it from his angle. Lena's rifle barked once. The target dropped. Nice shot, Mitchell said over the radio. Moving to building 2, Lena replied. The scenario progressed. Mitchell clearing rooms. Lena providing precision fire from distance. They worked together like they had done this 100 times. At the 12-minute mark, they reached the hostage location. The mannequin sat in a chair, hands bound, 2 terrorist targets flanking it. Mitchell would have to breach the door, expose himself. The shot was Lena's. Except there was a problem. A third target appeared. Behind the hostage, holding what looked like a phone. Could be a civilian, could be a terrorist with a detonator. In the observation tower, Cross leaned forward. This was the real test, the one that mattered. Kill the wrong target and the scenario failed. Hesitate too long and Mitchell died. Lena's finger rested on the trigger. Cross could see her through the spotting scope, face calm, eye pressed to the optic, making a decision that had no good answer. She did not shoot. Mitchell breached the door, engaged the 2 flanking targets. The third target turned. It was holding a phone. Just a phone. Civilian. Scenario failed. But Lena had made the right call. Cross stood, walked down from the tower. By the time he reached the course, instructors were already berating Lena for her hesitation. Mitchell looked frustrated. Cross raised his hand. Silence fell. Hayes, he said, why did you not take the shot? The target had not shown hostile intent, Sergeant, Lena replied. Rules of engagement state positive identification before engagement. I could not confirm. Your hesitation got Lieutenant Mitchell killed in that scenario. Yes, Sergeant, but in reality you saved a civilian life. Lena did not respond. Cross walked closer, stood directly in front of her. Most candidates shot that target, Cross said. 80%. They wanted to succeed so badly they forgot the mission. The mission is not to kill everyone. It is to protect the innocent and eliminate the threat. You remembered that? Well done. Lena's eyes widened slightly. Mitchell straightened. Cross addressed the other instructors. Hayes and Mitchell advance. Anyone who shot the civilian target is disqualified. Check the recordings. He walked away. Behind him, chaos erupted as candidates realized what had just happened. 8 of them had failed on a technicality they never saw coming. But Lena Hayes had passed, not by being the best shooter, by having the judgment to know when not to shoot. That night, Cross sat in his office completing paperwork. There was a knock at his door. He glanced at the clock. 2200, late for visitors. Enter. Colonel Martinez walked in. Closed the door behind him. His face was grim. "We have a problem," Martinez said. Cross set down his pen. "Talk to me." Martinez placed a folder on the desk, opened it. Inside were photographs, surveillance images, taken from a distance. They showed Lena Hayes walking across the compound, entering the barracks, standing at the range. Someone had been watching her. "Where did you get these?" Cross asked. "Anonymous package, delivered to my office an hour ago. No return address, no note." Cross flipped through the images. They were professional quality, expensive equipment, someone with resources. "There is more," Martinez said. He pulled out a second set of photos. These showed Cross, meeting with Martinez, walking with Lena, entering his quarters. "Whoever sent the threat is escalating," Martinez said. "They want us to know they are watching." Cross felt cold anger settle in his chest. The controlled kind, the kind that led to careful planning and precise action. "We need to move faster," Cross said. "Whatever operation you have in mind, we do it now." Martinez nodded. "I briefed the team this morning. JSOC approved. We have a window. 3 American aid workers kidnapped by Sinaloa cartel, held at a compound in northern Mexico. Intelligence suggests the compound is guarded by a high-value target, someone we have been tracking." "Who?" "Female sniper. Goes by the name Sofia Navarro, former Mexican Special Forces. Turned when her family was killed in a drone strike. Now she works for the cartel. 47 confirmed kills, all American targets." Cross absorbed this. "You want to use Lena as bait." "I want to use her skills. The compound is too hardened for direct assault. We need someone on the inside, someone who can infiltrate. Lena fits the profile, young, female, skilled enough to convince them she is worth recruiting. She is 19 years old and has not even graduated selection. She is also Thomas Hayes' daughter. And if the person who killed Thomas is connected to this cartel, sending her in might draw them out." Cross stood, walked to the window. Outside, the base was dark and quiet. Somewhere out there, Lena Hayes was sleeping, dreaming, unaware that her life was about to change in ways she could not imagine. "What are her chances?" Cross asked. "Of survival? 60% if everything goes right, 30 if it goes wrong. And if I say no, then we send someone else, someone less prepared, someone who will probably die, and we never find out who killed Thomas Hayes." Cross turns to face Martinez. "When do we tell her?" "Tomorrow, 0900, War Room, full briefing." "Does she have a choice?" "Everyone has a choice, Daniel, but some choices matter more than others." Martinez left. Cross stood alone in his office. He looked at the photograph on his wall. His old team, Thomas Hayes grinning under his helmet, still alive, still believing. Cross picked up his phone, scrolled to a number he had not called in 2 years. Emma's number, still in his contacts. He pressed call, even though he knew it would not ring. The number had been disconnected for months, but sometimes he needed to hear the automated voice say it. Needed the reminder that she was gone and no amount of wishing would bring her back. The voice came through, generic, corporate. "The number you have dialed is no longer in service." Cross ended the call, sat at his desk, and began writing a letter he hoped he would never have to deliver. Morning came with clouds low and threatening. Rain on the way. Cross assembled the remaining candidates at 0800. 12 women left. They stood in formation looking tired but unbroken. "Today is your last day in selection," Cross announced. 3 of you will be chosen for the pilot program. The rest will return to your units with my respect and my recommendation." He paused. "The decision has already been made based on performance over the last 3 weeks. When I call your name, step forward." Cross read it from his list. Lieutenant Jessica Morrison, Staff Sergeant Amanda Rodriguez. 2 women stepped forward. Both excellent candidates, both earned it. And Private Lena Hayes. Lena stepped forward. Her face showed nothing, but Cross saw the tension in her shoulders, the way her hands stayed loose at her sides. "Ready." "Congratulations," Cross said. "You are now part of the first all-female Delta selection class. Report to the War Room at 0900 for your first briefing. Dismissed." The formation broke. Candidates who did not make it walked away with dignity. Those who did remained, looking at each other, realizing what they had just accomplished. Lena walked past Cross. He caught her eye, saw the question there. Not celebration, not relief. just readiness for whatever came next. At 0900 exactly, Lena entered the war room. Cross and Martinez were waiting. So was Ryan Mitchell. Maps covered the walls, satellite imagery, dossiers. This was not a training briefing. This was operational. Martinez gestured to a chair. Sit, Private Hayes. Lena sat. Cross remained standing by the door. Mitchell took position near the maps. What I am about to tell you is classified, Martinez began. If you are not interested in volunteering for this mission, you can leave now. No questions asked. No penalty. Lena did not move. Martinez continued. 3 American citizens were kidnapped 4 days ago while running a medical clinic in Sonora, Mexico. 2 doctors, 1 nurse. Sinaloa cartel is holding them. Ransom demand is $5 million. State Department is negotiating. But intelligence suggests the hostages will be executed in 72 hours regardless of payment. He pulled up a satellite image on the screen. A compound. Walls. Guard towers. This is where they are being held. Standard assault would result in hostage deaths. We need someone inside. Lena looked at the image. Inside how? The cartel recruits women as spotters and couriers. Young, disposable. You fit the profile. We insert you as a potential recruit. You locate the hostages, signal for extraction. We breach and pull everyone out. What is the risk level? High, Cross said from the door. The compound is guarded by Sofia Navarro. She will test you. If she suspects you are military, she will kill you. Lena absorbed this. When do I leave? 72 hours, if you volunteer. I volunteer. Martinez exchanged a glance with Cross. You have not asked about the secondary objective. What is it? We believe the person who gave wrong coordinates during your father's mission in Yemen is connected to this cartel. We need evidence, physical proof. If you can find anything in that compound linking American military personnel to cartel operations, you bring it out. Lena's expression did not change, but Cross saw her hands grip the armrests of her chair. Who do you think it is? She asked. Martinez pulled up a photo, an older man, silver hair, chest full of ribbons. General William Warren, currently assigned to JSOC Command. We have been investigating him for 8 months, but he is protected, powerful. We need something concrete. Lena stared at the photo. Cross watched her, saw the wheels turning, the calculations, the grief mixing with purpose. If I find proof, Lena said quietly, what happens to him? He goes to prison for the rest of his life, Martinez replied. But only if we have evidence that cannot be buried or explained away. Lena stood, walked to the map, studied the compound. Her finger traced the perimeter, the guard positions, the likely hostage location. When she spoke, her voice was steady. I will need 3 days to prepare. I need to know everything about Sofia Navarro, how she thinks, how she tests recruits, what she looks for. We have files, Mitchell said. Everything we have gathered over 2 years. Good. I also need to know the cartel's recruitment process. Cover story, backstory that checks out if they verify. Already prepared, Martinez said. You are Maya Reyes, orphan from Juarez. Family killed in a DEA raid 5 years ago. Looking for work. We have seeded your identity into cartel networks. If they check, it holds. Lena nodded slowly, turned to Cross. And you were with my father at the end. I need to know exactly what happened. Everything. If I am going to do this, I need to know what I am walking into. Cross stepped forward. This was the moment he had been dreading. The moment when he would have to tell a 19-year-old girl that her father died badly. Alone. Betrayed by someone he trusted. Your father knew this mission was compromised, Cross began. He told me before we inserted. Said if something went wrong, I should look at the chain of command. Someone gave intelligence to the enemy. Someone wanted us dead. Cross took a breath. When the airstrike came down wrong, your father called it in. But the coordinates had been changed, not by accident, deliberately. The militia knew exactly where we would be. They waited. Lena's face remained impassive. Your father held them off while we extracted the wounded. Killed 6, wounded 4 more. But they got behind him. Shot him 3 times. Chest and abdomen. By the time I reached him, he was bleeding out. Cross's voice roughened. He gave me a message. Said to tell you he was proud. That you should finish what he started. That the truth mattered more than revenge. Silence filled the room. Martinez looked away. Mitchell studied his boots. Lena stood perfectly still. Then she walked to the door. Stopped. Did not turn around. I will be ready in 72 hours, she said. Notify me when it is time. She left. Cross stood in the war room and felt the ghost press close. Thomas Hayes, Emma, all the people he had failed to save. Now he was sending another young woman into danger, hoping this time would be different. Knowing it probably would not be. Outside, rain began to fall. The helicopter cut through darkness like a blade through silk. Below, the American border fell away. Ahead, Mexico stretched into infinity. Desert and mountains and places where laws meant nothing and lives meant less. Lena sat near the open door, wind tearing at her clothes, hair whipping across her face. She did not push it back. Maya Reyes would not care about appearance. Maya Reyes had bigger concerns, like survival, like revenge, like proving herself to men who measured worth in blood. Lieutenant Ryan Mitchell sat across from her, full tactical gear, night vision mounted on his helmet, rifle between his knees. He caught her eye, nodded once. The gesture said everything words could not. I am with you. I will keep you alive. Do not do anything stupid. Lena nodded back, turned to watch the darkness below. The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. 5 minutes to drop. Lena checked her backpack. Minimal contents. Change of clothes, water bottle, protein bars. Cigarettes she did not smoke, but Maya Reyes would. Hidden in the lining, the emergency beacon, smaller than a deck of cards. One button. Press it, and the world would know she was compromised. Press it, and 3 hostages might die in the crossfire. She would not press it unless there was no other choice. The helicopter began its descent. Lower, slower, the desert rose up to meet them. Scrub brush and rock and sand that held heat long after the sun died. The landing zone was a flat stretch 15 clicks from the compound. Remote enough to avoid cartel patrols, close enough for Lena to walk in before dawn. The skids touched earth. Dust exploded in every direction. Mitchell jumped out first. Scanned the perimeter with his weapon. All clear. He looked back at Lena. 30 seconds, the pilot said. Lena grabbed her pack, stepped to the door. Below, the desert waited. Empty, hostile, honest in its indifference. Mitchell caught her arm, pulled her close so she could hear him over the rotors. Radio check every 6 hours. If you miss one, I am coming in. Do not, Lena said. Hostages first, always. Hayes, that is an order, Lieutenant. Mitchell's jaw tightened, but he released her arm, stepped back, saluted. Not regulation, just respect. Lena returned it, then jumped. She hit the sand and rolled, came up running. The helicopter lifted immediately, rose into the sky. Within seconds, it was gone. Just star and silence and Lena alone in the Mexican desert with nothing but a lie between her and death. She checked her compass. North by northwest. 15 clicks. 5 hours at a steady pace. She had until dawn. After that, walking in the open would draw attention. Cartel scouts watched the approaches, looking for Border Patrol, DEA, rivals, anyone stupid enough to cross into their territory uninvited. Lena adjusted her pack and started walking. The desert at night was a different world. Cold where the day had been scorching, alive with sounds that vanished in daylight. Coyotes in the distance, wind through the brush, her own breathing, the crunch of sand under her boots. She walked for 3 hours without stopping. Let her mind settle into the rhythm. One foot, then the other. Do not think about the mission. Do not think about the hostages. Do not think about Sofia Navarro waiting at the compound with 47 kills and a reputation for cruelty. Think about Maya Reyes, orphan, angry, desperate, looking for purpose in a world that had taken everything. At hour 4, Lena saw lights in the distance. The compound. She was close. She found cover behind a rock formation, pulled out her water bottle, drank half, poured the rest over her face and hair, made herself look tired, desperate, like she had walked through hell to get here. Because Maya Reyes had, just not the hell anyone would expect. Dawn broke red and violent across the horizon. Lena stood, shouldered her pack, walked toward the lights, toward the compound, toward whatever waited on the other side of the lie she was about to tell. The first checkpoint appeared a half-mile out. 2 men, assault rifles, sitting in a truck parked across the dirt road. They saw her coming from 300 meters, did not move, just watched, waited to see if she would run or keep walking. Lena kept walking. At 50 meters, one of them stood, raised his rifle, not quite aiming, not quite threatening, just ready. Lena stopped, raised her hands, palms out. Universal language. I am not armed. I am not a threat. The man with the rifle said something in Spanish. Fast. Aggressive. Lena caught enough to understand. Who are you? What do you want? Why should we not shoot you right now? Me llamo Maya Reyes, Lena replied. Her Spanish was good. Thomas Hayes had made sure of it. Taught her young when languages stuck. Busco trabajo. I am looking for work. The second man stood, walked around the truck, looked her up and down. Lena did not flinch, did not look away. Maya Reyes would not be intimidated by men with guns. Maya Reyes had seen worse. Trabajo? The second man said. He smiled. It was not a kind smile. What kind of work? Whatever you need, Lena said. I can shoot, I can drive, I can disappear. Can you die? Everyone can die. Question is whether it matters. The second man laughed. Harsh, sharp. He said something to the first man in rapid Spanish. Lena caught fragments. American. Too clean. Probably DEA. The first man lowered his rifle, walked closer, stopped 3 feet away, close enough to see the dirt on Lena's face, the exhaustion in her eyes, the realness of someone who had walked through the night to get here. Where are you from? He asked. Juarez. Family? Dead. DEA raid 5 years ago. Wrong house. The lie came smooth, easy. Martinez had built the backstory well, seeded it into cartel networks. If they checked, it would hold. Girl named Maya Reyes, orphaned at 14, bounced through foster care, vanished at 17. No one looked hard for girls like that. The system did not care enough. The first man studied her face, looking for tells, signs of deception. Lena kept her expression flat. Let him see anger, bitterness, the things Maya Reyes would carry. You walk all night? He asked. Yes. From where? Bus dropped me in Hermosillo yesterday. I walked from there. That is 80 kilometers. I know. The second man spoke again. Faster. The first man nodded, turned back to Lena. El Tigre will want to see you, he said. If you are lying, he will know. If you are DEA, you will die slow. Understand? I understand. Get in the truck. Lena climbed into the bed. The 2 men got in the cab. The engine roared. The truck lurched forward. Lena held onto the side rail and watched the desert fall away behind her. Somewhere out there, Ryan Mitchell was watching through a scope, tracking her movement, unable to help if this went wrong. She was alone now. The compound appeared like a mirage. Walls of corrugated metal and concrete. Guard towers at the corners. Armed men walking the perimeter. Inside, buildings. Vehicles. The infrastructure of an operation that moved millions of dollars in product every month. The truck stopped at the main gate. The driver spoke to the guards, pointed at Lena. The gates opened. They drove through. Lena memorized everything. Layout, guard positions, vehicle placement, possible escape routes. The kind of details that would matter later when everything went wrong. The truck stopped in a courtyard. The second man got out, gestured for Lena to follow. She jumped down. Her legs ached from the walk. She did not show it. Maya Reyes would push through pain. Pain was weakness leaving the body. They walked toward the largest building, concrete, 2 stories, windows barred. The kind of place where important decisions were made and people disappeared. Inside, the air was cooler, almost pleasant. Ceiling fans turned lazy circles. Men sat around tables cleaning weapons, playing cards, drinking. They looked up when Lena entered, stared. Most lost interest quickly. One did not. He was older, scarred, missing 2 fingers on his left hand. He watched Lena with eyes that had seen too much and cared about too little. El Tigre sat behind a desk in the back room. Massive, 6'4" and 280 pounds, neck like a tree trunk, arms covered in tattoos. Some were gang symbols, some were religious, some were just violence given ink. He looked up when Lena entered, did not stand. Maya Reyes, he said, his voice was surprisingly soft. You walked 80 kilometers to ask me for a job. Yes. Why? Because I am good at what I do and you need good people. El Tigre smiled. It did not reach his eyes. What makes you think you are good? I am still alive. That is proof enough in my world. Your world, El Tigre repeated. He stood, walked around the desk, stopped directly in front of Lena, close enough that she could smell tobacco and sweat and something darker underneath. Your world is nothing. You are nothing. A girl who walked out of the desert with a story. I hear stories every day. Most are lies. Mine is not. Prove it. El Tigre gestured to the guard. The man left, returned 30 seconds later carrying a rifle. An old Dragunov, Russian, heavy, accurate in the right hands. He handed it to El Tigre. El Tigre handed it to Lena. There was a bottle on the wall. 300 meters. Hit it. Lena took the rifle, felt the weight, the balance, checked the chamber. 1 round. El Tigre was not giving her opportunities to shoot anyone but the target. She walked to the window, opened it. Hot air rushed in. She scanned the compound, found the wall, found the bottle, brown glass catching sunlight, wind from the east, maybe 3 knots, heat shimmer rising from the sand. She would have to account for both. The rifle was old, probably not zeroed perfectly. She would have to compensate. Lena settled into position, rifle to shoulder, eye to scope, breathed out. Let the world narrow to just the target and the space between. She missed. On purpose, 2 inches to the left. El Tigre grunted. Again. The guard brought another round. Lena loaded, aimed. This time she made the shot. The bottle exploded. El Tigre nodded slowly. You missed the first on purpose. It was not a question. Lena did not answer. Why? Because a girl who is too good too fast gets noticed for the wrong reasons. Better to look competent than exceptional. El Tigre laughed. Real this time, deep, genuine. You are smart. I like smart. Smart people live longer. He gestured to the guard. Take her to Sophia. Tell her we have a new student. The guard nodded, grabbed Lena's arm, led her out of the building, across the courtyard, to a smaller structure at the edge of the compound. Lena's heart rate increased. Sophia Navarro, the woman who had hunted American Border Patrol agents like animals for 5 years, who had learned to shoot in the Mexican military before her family died, and rage turned her into something else. 47 confirmed kills. Intelligence suggested she had been working for the cartel since age 17. 5 years, 9 kills per year. Active hunting schedule. Professional. Efficient. Deadly. The guard knocked. A voice answered from inside. Female. Cold. Enter. The guard opened the door, pushed Lena through, closed it behind her. The room was small, sparse. A cot, a table, a chair, and standing by the window, a woman. Sophia Navarro was not what Lena expected. She was young, maybe 22, beautiful in a way that seemed wrong for someone who killed professionally. Long dark hair, smooth skin, eyes like chips of obsidian. She wore simple clothes, jeans, tank top, boots, no jewelry, no makeup, nothing unnecessary. She turned when Lena entered, studied her with the kind of attention a surgeon gives a patient before cutting. Maya Reyes, Sophia said. Her English was perfect, unaccented. El Tigre tells me you can shoot. I can. Everyone says they can shoot. Few actually can. Fewer can shoot when it matters. Sophia walked to the table, picked up a rifle, different from the Dragunov, newer, better maintained. A Remington 700, American-made, probably taken from a dead Border Patrol agent. She handed it to Lena. Tomorrow we train. I will see if you are worth the bullet El Tigre will put in your head if you are not. Tonight you sleep with the other girls. Follow Maria. Do what she says. Do not steal. Do not fight. Do not cause problems. If you do any of those things, I will kill you myself. Understand? Yes. Sophia studied Lena for another moment, then nodded. Good, you have your father's eyes. Lena froze. Every instinct screamed wrong. Sophia could not know about Thomas Hayes, could not know anything. The cover was solid. Perfect. Excuse me? Lena said carefully. Your father, Sophia repeated. Whoever he was. You have his eyes, the way you look at things. Like you are measuring distance even when there is nothing to shoot. Lena forced herself to relax. Sophia was reading her, testing, looking for reactions. My father is dead, Lena said. Most fathers are. That is why we are here. Sophia walked to the door, opened it. Maria was waiting outside, older woman, 50 maybe, hard face, harder eyes. This is Maya, Sophia said. Show her the barracks. Make sure she understands the rules. Maria nodded, gestured for Lena to follow. Lena walked out, did not look back. But she felt Sophia's eyes on her, watching, calculating, deciding whether this new girl was useful or dangerous. The barracks was a long, low building, 20 women inside, ages ranging from teenagers to middle age. Some were cooking, some were cleaning weapons, some were just sitting, staring at nothing. The 1,000-yard stare of people who had seen too much. Maria pointed to an empty bunk. Yours. Do not touch anyone else's things. Do not ask questions. Do not make friends. Friends get you killed here. Lena set her pack on the bunk, sat down. Around her, the other women returned to their tasks. No one spoke. No one acknowledged her presence. Just empty eyes and emptier futures. That night, Lena lay on the bunk and stared at the ceiling. Outside, guards walked their patrols. Dogs barked. Somewhere in the distance, music played. Narco corridos, songs about drug lords and violence in the glory of dying young. She thought about Thomas Hayes, about Daniel Cross, about Ryan Mitchell watching from 2 clicks away with a rifle and no way to help. She thought about the hostages, somewhere in this compound, alive or dead, waiting for rescue that might never come. And she thought about Sophia Navarro, the woman with 47 kills and eyes that saw too much. Tomorrow she would train with Sophia. Tomorrow she would start looking for the hostages. Tomorrow she would begin the real work. Tonight she was just Maya Reyes, orphan, angry, alone. Tomorrow she would be something else. Dawn came too early. Maria woke the barracks at 5. No gentleness, just harsh words and the threat of violence. The women moved like machines, dressing, preparing, filing out to their assigned tasks. Lena followed Maria to the training area, a cleared section of desert behind the compound. Targets set at various distances: 200 meters, 400, 600, 800, and one at 1,000. The long shot, the one that separated capable from exceptional. Sophia was already there, setting up equipment. She looked up when Lena approached, nodded to a spot on the ground. Sit. Lena sat. Sophia finished her preparations, then sat across from Lena. Between them, 3 rifles: the Remington 700, a Barrett M82, and something Lena did not recognize. Older, wooden stock, iron sights. Do you know what separates a good shooter from a great one? Sophia asked. Practice. No. Understanding. A good shooter knows how to hit a target. A great shooter knows why the target needs to be hit. The mechanics are easy, the decision is hard. Sophia picked up the old rifle, ran her fingers along the stock. This was my father's. He used it to hunt deer in the mountains. Taught me to shoot when I was 8. Told me the rifle was a tool, nothing more. No different from a hammer or a saw. What mattered was the hands holding it. She looked at Lena. Your father teach you to shoot? Yes. What did he tell you about it? Lena hesitated. Maya Reyes would not have been taught to shoot by a Delta Force operator. Maya Reyes would have learned on the streets. Quick, dirty, practical. But the question felt like another test. Sophia was reading her, looking for truth beneath the lie. He told me to be the shot, Lena said quietly, not the shooter. Sophia's expression changed, just for a moment. Surprise, recognition, something that might have been respect. That is good advice, Sophia said. Who was your father? No one important. Just a man who died for nothing. All men die for nothing. Women too. The question is what we do with the time before. Sophia stood, picked up the Remington, handed it to Lena. Show me what you can do. They trained for 6 hours. Sophia was a brutal teacher. No praise, no encouragement, just corrections delivered in a voice that expected perfection. When Lena's breathing was wrong, Sophia made her run until her lungs burned. When her position was sloppy, Sophia kicked her legs into proper alignment. When she rushed a shot, Sophia made her wait. Hold position, muscles screaming, until she learned patience. At noon, Sophia called a break. They sat in the shade of the building, drinking water, not speaking. You are good, Sophia said finally. Better than you pretend. Why hide it? Survival. Smart. But it will not work with me. I see what you are. The question is whether you see it too. Before Lena could respond, a man approached. One of El Tigre's lieutenants. He spoke rapid Spanish to Sophia, too fast for Lena to catch everything. But she heard enough. American, doctor, woman, North Building. The hostages. Sophia stood. Back to work in 10 minutes. She walked away with the lieutenant. Lena watched them go, saw them enter a building on the north side of the compound. The building with bars on the windows, with guards at the door. That was where they were keeping the hostages. Lena memorized the location, the guard rotation, the distance from her barracks. She had 6 hours until dark. 6 hours to figure out how to signal Ryan Mitchell, how to let him know she had found them. The afternoon passed in a blur of training and observation. Sophia pushed Lena through drill after drill, long shots, quick shots, moving targets, wind calculations, every scenario designed to break focus, test limits. Lena passed every test, but not perfectly. She made deliberate mistakes, small ones, the kind that showed skill without revealing mastery. Sophia noticed, said nothing, just watched with those black eyes that missed nothing. At 1800, Sophia called an end. Tomorrow we do this again, and the next day, until you are ready. Ready for what? To kill someone who deserves it. Sophia walked away. Lena returned to the barracks. The other women were preparing dinner. Simple food, beans, rice, tortillas. Lena took a plate, ate without tasting. Her mind was on the North Building, on the hostages 300 meters away, on Ryan Mitchell watching from the darkness. She needed to make contact, send a signal, but the compound was under constant surveillance. Guards everywhere, cameras on the walls, no privacy, no opportunities, except one. At 2200, the guards changed shift. For 5 minutes, there was a gap in coverage on the east side, where the generators were, where the noise would cover small sounds, where someone could slip out unnoticed if they knew what they were doing. Lena waited until his barracks quieted. until the other women slept or pretended to. Then she stood, walked to the door, slipped outside. The night was cool, clear. Stars filled the sky like scattered diamonds. Lena moved along the wall, staying in shadows, heading for the east side. She reached the generators. The noise was deafening. Perfect. She pulled out a small mirror from her pocket, angled it to catch moonlight, began flashing. Short, long, short. Morse code, the old way, the reliable way. 3 flashes, pause. 2 flashes, pause. Repeat. Hostages located, north building. Request standby. She flashed the message 3 times, then pocketed the mirror, turned to head back. A voice stopped her. What are you doing? Lena spun. Sophia stood 10 feet away, rifle in hand. Not aimed, not yet. I could not sleep, Lena said. Too much noise in the barracks. So you came to the generators, where it is louder. I like machine noise better than people noise. Sophia stepped closer, looked at Lena's hands, at the pocket where the mirror was hidden. Her expression revealed nothing. Go back to the barracks, Sophia said. If I find you wandering again, I will assume you are trying to escape, and I will shoot you. Understood. Lena walked past Sophia, felt the rifle tracking her. Did not look back, did not run, just walked steady and calm like someone who had nothing to hide. Behind her, Sophia watched until Lena disappeared, then turned to look at the darkness beyond the compound, at the empty desert, at nothing. Or maybe at everything. 2 days passed. Lena trained with Sophia, ate with the other women, slept in the barracks, watched the north building, counted guards, mapped routines, built an understanding of the compound that would matter when the time came. On the 3rd night, El Tigre summoned her. She followed the guard to the main building, upstairs, to an office that smelled of cigars and violence. El Tigre sat behind his desk, on the phone, speaking to someone in English. His tone was respectful, careful, the way you talk to someone who holds power over you. He saw Lena, gestured for her to wait, finished the call, set the phone down. Maya Reyes, he said, Sophia tells me you are ready. Ready for what? To prove yourself. We have a problem. American soldiers across the border, watching, waiting. They think we do not know they are there, but we know everything. El Tigre stood, walked to the window, looked out at the compound, at the desert beyond. Tomorrow night you will go with Sophia, you will find these soldiers, and you will send them a message that this is our land, that Americans are not welcome, that anyone who crosses the line will die. Lena's blood went cold. He was talking about Ryan Mitchell, about the team Cross had positioned for extraction. El Tigre knew they were there, was planning to kill them. What kind of message? Lena asked. The permanent kind. El Tigre turned to face her, smiled. Sophia will teach you how. She is very good at sending messages, 47 of them so far. Tomorrow you help her send number 48. Lena nodded, kept her face blank. Inside, her mind raced. She had to warn Mitchell, had to get word out. The emergency beacon was still hidden in her pack. She could activate it, trigger the extraction. But the hostages would die. 3 innocent people traded for a tactical team that knew the risks. Thomas Hayes's voice echoed in her memory. Be the shot, not the shooter. She understood now. The shot was clean, simple, direct. The shooter carried the weight, the decision, the commitment. When do we leave? Lena asked. Oh, 200, be ready. Lena saluted, turned to leave. El Tigre's voice stopped her. Maya, if you betray us, I will not kill you quickly. I will give you to the men. Let them have their fun. Then I will kill you slowly, piece by piece, until you beg for death. Understand? I understand. Good. Dismissed. Lena walked out, down the stairs, across the courtyard, back to the barracks. Her hands shook. She clenched them into fists. Maya Reyes would not shake. Maya Reyes would be eager for violence, for revenge against the Americans who killed her family. But Lena Hayes was terrified. She lay on her bunk, stared at the ceiling, calculated options, all of them bad. Option 1, activate the beacon, trigger extraction, save Mitchell and the team, lose the hostages, fail the mission, live with that guilt forever. Option 2, go with Sophia, warn Mitchell somehow during the operation, risk everyone dying, risk blowing her cover, risk everything. Option 3, kill Sophia during the operation, extract the hostages during the chaos, hope Cross and Mitchell could adapt fast enough to make it work. All 3 options led to blood. The only question was whose. At midnight, Lena made her decision. She would go with Sophia, would find a way to warn Mitchell, would trust that the training Cross gave her would be enough. She pulled out Thomas Hayes's letter, rated again by moonlight coming through the window. Be the shot, not the shooter. She folded the letter, placed it back in her pack. Next to the emergency beacon she would not activate. Next to the lie she was still living. Tomorrow she would face Sofia Navarro in the field. Tomorrow she would either save her team or watch them die. Tomorrow everything would change. At 0200 exactly, Sofia came for her. No words, just a gesture. Follow. Lena grabbed her pack, followed Sofia out of the barracks, to a truck waiting in the courtyard. They drove in silence, east into the desert, away from the compound, toward the position where Ryan Mitchell was dug in with his team. 2 clicks, maybe less, close enough to watch, too far to help. The truck stopped after 20 minutes. Sofia got out, handed Lena a rifle. The Remington 700, same one from training. Lena checked the chamber, loaded, ready. They are north, Sofia said quietly. 3 men, 1 sniper, 2 security. The sniper is good, better than the others. He will be your target. Lena's stomach twisted. Sofia was assigning her to kill Ryan Mitchell. Why me? Lena asked. Because I want to see if you can. Anyone can shoot paper. Shooting people is different. It changes you. I need to know if you are willing to change. They moved through the darkness. Sofia leading, Lena following. Every step taking them closer to Mitchell. Closer to the moment when Lena would have to choose between the mission and the man who had promised to keep her safe. After an hour, Sofia stopped, pointed to a ridge 800 meters away. There, see the thermal signature? Lena looked through her scope, saw the faint heat bloom. 3 shapes, 1 prone, 2 sitting, Mitchell and his team. Range, Sofia asked? 840 meters. Wind? 5 knots from the west. Temperature differential? 12 degrees, warm to cold, bullet will drop. Sofia nodded. Good, you understand the mathematics. Now understand the reality. That man you are looking at has a family, a mother who loves him, maybe a wife, maybe children. When you pull this trigger, you end all of that. Not just his life, their lives too. They will never be the same. Sofia settled into position beside Lena, set up her own rifle. I want you to know what you are doing, so when you look back years from now, you cannot say you did not understand. You will understand perfectly, and you will have to live with it anyway. Lena pressed her eye to the scope, found Mitchell in the reticle, saw him clearly. He was checking his watch, probably wondering why she had not made radio contact, probably planning to move in soon. Take the shot, Sofia said. Lena's finger rested on the trigger. 2 pounds of pressure. That was all. 2 pounds and Ryan Mitchell would die. The mission would be compromised. The hostages would be executed. Everything would fall apart. Or, Lena adjusted her aim, 2 inches to the left, found the rock next to Mitchell's head. Wind just shifted, Lena said. Give me 10 seconds. Sofia waited, patient, watching. Lena fired. The bullet struck rock, 6 inches from Mitchell's face. He rolled instantly, grabbed his rifle. His team scattered, taking cover. You missed, Sofia said, no emotion in her voice. Wind shifted at the last second. No, it did not. You missed on purpose. Sofia swung her rifle toward Lena, not aiming, just ready. Why now? Lena kept her eyes on the scope, watched Mitchell and his team moving, getting to safety, away from the kill zone. Because you were right, Lena said quietly. Shooting people is different, and I needed to know if I could. Now I know. And? I cannot. Sofia was silent for a long moment. Then she lowered her rifle. Get up. Lena stood, expected the bullet, expected Sofia to end it here. Instead, Sofia just looked at her, really looked, like she was seeing Lena for the first time. What is your real name? Sofia asked. Maya. Know your real name. Lena met Sofia's eyes, saw something there. Not anger, not betrayal, something almost like recognition. Lena Hayes. And your father? Thomas Hayes, Delta Force. Killed in Yemen 3 years ago by someone who sold him out. Sofia nodded slowly. I knew your father, not personally, but I knew of him. He was legendary, even in Mexico. The ghost, they called him. The one who could not be found, could not be stopped. She sat down on a rock, gestured for Lena to do the same. He came to my village once, after the drone strike, after my family died. He was not supposed to be there, but he came anyway, helped us bury the dead, apologized, said it was a mistake, that someone gave wrong coordinates. Sofia looked at the sky, at the stars. He told me something I never forgot. He said rage would destroy me if I let it, that I could choose revenge or I could choose purpose, but I could not choose both. What did you choose? Lena asked. Wrong. I chose wrong, joined the cartel, became what he warned me not to. And now I have 47 bodies behind me and nowhere left to go but hell. Sophia turned to Lena. But you still have a choice. You are here for the hostages. The 3 Americans in the North building. I know because I have been watching you watch them. Lena's hand moved toward her rifle. Sophia shook her head. Do not. I am not going to kill you. I am going to help you. Why? Because your father was right and I was wrong, and maybe this is how I start making that right. Sophia stood, pulled out a radio, spoke into it in Spanish, too fast for Lena to follow. Then she turned back. El Tigre knows you are American military. General Warren told him yesterday. They were planning to kill you tomorrow. Use you as an example. Send your body back across the border. Warren, Lena whispered. The name tasted like poison. He has been working with the cartel for 2 years, taking money to provide intelligence. Your father found out, was going to report it. Warren made sure he did not live long enough. Sophia handed Lena a small drive. USB. Everything is on here. Financial records, communications, proof that Warren sold out your father and 24 other operations. Enough to put him away forever. Lena took the drive. Her hand shook. Why are you doing this? Because I am tired of being what I became. Because your father gave me a chance once and I wasted it. Because maybe if I help his daughter, some part of me is still worth saving. Sophia walked to the edge of the ridge, looked down at the desert below. The hostages are in the North building, 2nd floor, 3 guards. I can get you inside, but once you are in, you are on your own. Your team will have to breach and extract. It will be loud. People will die. I know. Some of those people might be me. Lena stood, walked to Sophia. They faced each other. 2 women, 2 daughters. 2 people shaped by violence they never asked for. You do not have to be there, Lena said. You can leave, disappear, start over. Sophia smiled, sad, tired. I have nowhere to start over. 47 bodies remember me everywhere I go. But you still have a chance. Take it. Finish what your father started. Make it mean something. She turned, started walking back toward the truck. Lena followed. Behind them, Ryan Mitchell and his team were already moving, already calling in the situation, already preparing for the extraction that was about to become real. Tomorrow the shooting would start. Tomorrow blood would spill. Tomorrow everything would end, or begin, or both. Tonight, Lena Hayes had an ally she never expected, and proof that would destroy the man who killed her father. Tonight was enough. The truck ride back to the compound passed in silence. Sophia drove. Lena sat in the passenger seat. Between them, the USB drive containing proof of General Warren's betrayal. Behind them, Ryan Mitchell and his team were already moving, already preparing for what came next. Sophia stopped the truck a quarter mile from the compound, killed the engine, turned to face Lena. We have maybe 6 hours before El Tigre realizes something is wrong, Sophia said. Maybe less. He will check on the mission. When he finds out the American team is still alive, he will know. What happens then? He kills everyone, hostages, me, you, anyone he thinks might have betrayed him. Then he runs, disappears into Mexico, where even your government cannot touch him. Lena looked at the compound, lights burning in the darkness, guards on the walls, 3 innocent people locked in the North building, waiting for rescue that might come too late. We go now, Lena said, before he knows, before he can react. Sophia nodded. I will get you inside, to the North building. After that, your team has to breach. Fast, loud, overwhelming force. No hesitation. They will. Good. Sophia reached into the glove compartment, pulled out a radio, handed it to Lena. This is keyed to your team's frequency. When you are ready, call them in. They will have maybe 4 minutes from breach to extraction. After that, the entire cartel will be on you. Lena took the radio, checked the frequency. It matched the emergency band Martinez had briefed. Sophia had done her homework. Why are you doing this? Lena asked. You could run, disappear, start over somewhere. Sophia smiled, sad, tired, the expression of someone who had already made peace with endings. I told you I have nowhere left to run. 47 bodies follow me everywhere. But you have a future, a purpose, someone who loves you. I do not. The lieutenant, Mitchell. I have seen the way he looks at you, even through the scope, even from 2 clicks away. That man would die for you. Lena did not respond. Could not. Because Sophia was right, and admitting it felt like weakness, like vulnerability, like everything Thomas Hayes taught her to avoid. When this is over, Sophia continued, you go back to your life. You find that man. You let yourself be happy, because that is the real victory. Not killing the enemy, just surviving long enough to remember what living feels like. She opened the truck door. Come, we do this now or we do not do it at all. They walked toward the compound. Sophia in front, confident, familiar. The guards recognized her, waved them through, no questions, no searches. Sophia Navarro could walk anywhere she wanted, do anything she wanted. She had earned that privilege in blood. They crossed the courtyard, past the main building where El Tigre slept, past the barracks where the other women dreamed of escape, headed straight for the north building. Two guards stood at the door. They straightened when Sophia approached. One started to speak. Sophia cut him off with rapid Spanish, too fast for Lena to follow. But the tone was clear. Authority, command, do what I say or suffer. The guards hesitated. Sophia did not. She walked past them, grabbed the door, pulled it open, gestured for Lena to enter. Inside, stairs led up. Sophia climbed them two at a time. Lena followed. At the top, another guard, this one older, scarred. He looked at Sophia with recognition, with fear. Sophia said something. The guard shook his head, argued. Sophia drew her sidearm, pressed it against his forehead, spoke again, quieter, deadlier. The guard unlocked the door, stepped aside. Sophia lowered her weapon, nodded to Lena. 2 minutes, get them ready, then we move. Lena entered the room. 3 people sat on cots against the wall. 2 women, 1 man, all in their 40s or 50s, dirty, exhausted, afraid, but alive. The man stood when Lena entered. Who are you? I am here to get you out, Lena said. My name is Lena Hayes, United States Army. Are any of you injured? The older woman shook her head. Bruises, nothing serious. They have been relatively humane given the circumstances. That changes now. We have maybe 3 minutes before this compound turns into a war zone. When it does, you follow me exactly. No questions, no hesitation. Understood? Oh, all 3 nodded. Lena could see hope flickering in their eyes. Desperate, fragile. The kind that could get people killed if they let it override judgment. What are your names? Lena asked. Dr. Sarah Chen, the older woman said. Dr. Michael Harrison. Nurse Jennifer Brooks. Lena memorized them. Faces, names, people she was responsible for now. People who would live or die based on decisions she made in the next few minutes. Sophia appeared in the doorway. Time to go. They moved as a group, down the stairs, out the door. The guards were gone. Sophia had sent them away or killed them. Lena did not ask which, did not want to know. They crossed the courtyard, heading for the east side, for the gap in the fence Sophia had identified. 50 meters away, then 40, then 30. Lights blazed across the compound. Alarms screamed. Someone had noticed. Someone had raised the alarm. Run, Sophia said. They ran. Lena in front, hostages in the middle, Sophia bringing up the rear. Guards appeared on the walls, shouting, raising weapons. Lena pulled the radio. Viper 6, this is Ghost. We are coming out hot. Repeat, coming out hot. Breach in 30 seconds. Ryan Mitchell's voice crackled back. Roger Ghost, we have visual. Initiating breach now. Explosions ripped through the night. The main gate disintegrated. Smoke, fire, chaos. Mitchell's team came through like a hammer through glass. 4 operators, full combat load, moving with lethal precision. Gunfire erupted everywhere. Cartel soldiers pouring out of buildings, taking positions, returning fire. The compound transformed into a killing ground in seconds. Lena reached the gap in the fence, pushed the hostages through. Dr. Chen first, then Harrison, then Brooks. All 3 made it, started running toward the extraction point 200 meters away. Lena turned back. Sophia was still in the courtyard, holding off 5 cartel soldiers, firing controlled bursts, dropping them one by one. Her rifle barked. Men fell, but more kept coming. Sophia, Lena shouted, move. Sophia looked at her, smiled, the kind of smile that said goodbye without words. She turned back to the enemy, kept firing. Lena understood. Sophia was not coming. This was her choice, her last stand, her way of making peace with 47 bodies and a lifetime of wrong decisions. Go, Sophia screamed. I will hold them. Lena hesitated. Every instinct said, go back. Help her. Save her. But Sophia was right. The hostages needed her more. Mitchell needed her more. The mission needed her more. Lena ran. Behind her, Sophia's rifle kept firing. Methodical, precise, beautiful in its terrible efficiency. Then it stopped. Silence. Then voices shouting in Spanish, then a single gunshot. Lena did not look back. Could not. If she looked back, she would see what she already knew. That Sophia Navarro died the way she lived. standing, fighting, refusing to run. Lena reached the extraction point. Mitchell was already there, setting up a perimeter. His team provided covering fire. The hostages huddled behind rocks, safe for the moment. Mitchell saw Lena, ran to her, grabbed her shoulders. "Are you hit?" "No, but Sophia is still in there." Mitchell looked at the compound. Flames rising now. Cartel soldiers regrouping. "We cannot go back for her." "I know." "Then we move. Now, before they organize a pursuit." Two Blackhawks appeared over the horizon, fast, low. The beautiful sound of American rotors cutting through hostile air. They landed in a storm of dust. Lena helped load the hostages. Dr. Chen, Harrison, Brooks, all three alive. Mission accomplished. Mitchell grabbed Lena's arm, pulled her toward the second helicopter. "Come on!" They climbed aboard. The helicopter lifted before the doors were even closed. Rising fast, banking hard, bullets sparked off the fuselage, none penetrated. The armor held. Lena looked down at the compound, saw flames, saw bodies, saw the place where Sophia had made her last stand. She touched the pocket where the USB drive was hidden. Evidence that would destroy General Warren. Evidence purchased with Sophia's life. The desert fell away below. Mexico became just lights in the darkness. Then the border. Then home. Fort Bragg appeared at dawn. Daniel Cross stood on the tarmac waiting. He had been there for 6 hours. Since the moment Mitchell radioed that extraction was successful. Since the moment he knew Lena was alive. The helicopters landed. Lena jumped out first. Cross walked toward her, stopped 3 feet away, looked at her, really looked. She was different, harder somehow, older. 3 days in Mexico had aged her 3 years. "Sergeant," Lena said. Cross pulled her into a hug, unexpected, uncharacteristic. He did not care. She was alive. That was all that mattered. She stiffened at first, then relaxed. Let herself be held. Let herself be safe. "You did good, kid," Cross said quietly. "Your father would be proud." Lena pulled back, reached into her pocket, handed him the USB drive. "This is everything: financial records, communications, proof that Warren sold out my father and 24 other operations." Cross took the drive, held it like it was made of gold, or justice. Same thing. "He is at JSOC headquarters right now," Cross said, "attending a briefing. Colonel Martinez has assets in position. When I give the word, they will arrest him." "I want to be there." "Lena, I earned this. I need to see his face when it happens." Cross studied her, saw the steel in her eyes, the same steel Thomas Hayes had carried, the kind that did not bend, did not break, just cut through everything in its path. "Okay," Cross said, "but we do this legal, proper, by the book, no revenge, just justice. That is all I want." They drove to JSOC headquarters. 3 hours. Cross, Lena, Mitchell, Martinez. The 4 of them in a black SUV moving through North Carolina like an avenging angel. No sirens, no rush, just certainty. At JSOC, they cleared security. Walked through halls Lena had never seen. Past offices where wars were planned and lives were spent. To a conference room on the 3rd floor where General Warren was presenting intelligence briefings to a room full of colonels and generals. Martinez opened the door, walked in. Warren looked up, annoyed at the interruption. Then he saw Lena. His face went white. "General Warren," Martinez said formally, "you are under arrest for treason, conspiracy to commit murder, and providing material support to enemy combatants. Military police will escort you to confinement. You have the right to legal counsel." Warren stood, tried to maintain composure. "This is absurd. On whose authority?" Martinez placed the USB drive on the table. "On the authority of every soldier you betrayed, every family you destroyed, every mission you sold for money." 2 MPs entered, moved to Warren's sides. He looked around the room, seeking allies, finding none. The other generals stared at him with disgust, with rage. One of them stood and left without a word, then another. Within a minute, Warren stood alone except for the MPs. "This is a mistake," Warren said, looking at Lena now. "I was following orders, doing what was necessary." "You killed my father," Lena said quietly. "Gave coordinates to the enemy. Took money to betray the men who trusted you. That was not orders. That was choice." Warren's mask cracked. Anger bled through. "Your father was going to destroy everything. Expose operations that keep this country safe. He was a threat. He was a patriot, and you are a coward." Warren lunged. The MPs caught him, restrained him, dragged him toward the door. He shouted the whole way. Threats, justifications, the desperate words of a man watching his world collapse. The door closed. Silence filled the conference room. Lena stood perfectly still, feeling nothing, feeling everything. The weight of 3 years lifted, the weight of 3 days settled. Trade one burden for another. Cross touched her shoulder. It is over. No, Lena said, now it starts. The court-martial was assembled within 2 weeks, not the usual 6 months. Department of Defense fast-tracked it. Secretary of Defense personally ordered priority handling. Too many eyes watching, too much media coverage. The first female Delta candidate, the general who betrayed her father, the rescue mission that saved 3 Americans. It was a story that demanded resolution. Military prosecutors presented evidence from the USB drive, financial records showing wire transfers from cartel accounts to Warren's offshore holdings, $2.3 million over 18 months, encrypted communications between Warren and El Tigre, recordings of phone calls where Warren provided intelligence on troop movements, mission plans, and high-value targets. You want me to have fun enhanced and high-value to all. The defense argued Warren was running a deep cover operation, that the money was operational funds, that the communications were part of a long-term infiltration strategy approved at the highest levels. But they could not explain Thomas Hayes, could not explain why Warren gave wrong coordinates for an airstrike that killed American soldiers, could not explain the message Warren sent to the cartel 24 hours before the ambush. Target confirmed. Hayes is the package. Eliminate. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, found Warren guilty on all counts. The presiding judge, a 3-star general who had served with Thomas Hayes in the 90s, delivered the sentence with visible anger. General William Warren, this court finds you guilty of treason, conspiracy to commit murder, and providing material support to enemy combatants. You are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment at the United States Disciplinary Barracks, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. You will be stripped of all rank, pay, and benefits. You are dismissed from service with dishonor. May God have mercy on your soul, because this nation will not. Warren stood stone-faced, no emotion, no remorse, just empty eyes and the knowledge that he would die in a cell. Lena attended every day of the trial, sat in the gallery, watched Warren's face as witness after witness destroyed his defense. On the day of sentencing, Warren looked at her, tried to speak. The judge ordered him removed before he could. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed, asking questions, demanding statements. Cross-shielded Lena got her to the car. They drove back to Fort Bragg in silence. How do you feel? Cross asked. Lena thought about it, tried to find words for something that had no words. Empty. Like I spent 3 years carrying a stone and now I do not know what to do with my hands. That is normal. Justice does not feel like people expect. It just feels like the end of something. What do I do now? Cross smiled. You live. You become the soldier your father knew you could be. You let yourself be happy, because that is the real victory. Not destroying the enemy, just surviving long enough to remember what living feels like. The words echoed. Lena realized Cross was quoting Sophia, or maybe Sophia had been quoting someone else. Maybe that wisdom was old, passed down through generations of people who learned the hard way that revenge was empty and justice was cold and only love kept you warm. Speaking of living, Cross said carefully, Lieutenant Mitchell has been asking about you. Every day, multiple times a day. The man is relentless. Lena felt heat rise in her cheeks. He is just concerned. Professional courtesy. Lena, I am old. Activate. Not blind. That man is in love with you. Has been since you outshot him on the qualification range. Question is whether you feel the same. Lena looked out the window. At North Carolina passing by. At the world that kept spinning despite everything. I do not know if I am ready. No one is ever ready. You just decide to try anyway. They reached the base. Cross dropped Lena at her barracks. She walked inside, found a message waiting from Mitchell. Simple, direct. Dinner, if you want. No pressure, just dinner. Lena smiled, picked up her phone, texted back, yes. 3 months later, the Secretary of Defense stood on a stage at Fort Bragg. Behind him, flags representing every branch of service. In front of him, 2,000 soldiers in dress uniform. At the center, 3 people, Lena Hayes, Ryan Mitchell, and posthumously, Sophia Navarro. The secretary read from prepared remarks, spoke of courage and sacrifice and the price of freedom. Then he called Lena forward. She walked to the podium, stood at attention. The secretary held up a blue ribbon attached to a gold star. The Medal of Honor, highest military decoration. Awarded for conspicuous gallantry at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty. Private First Class Lena Hayes, the secretary said, for extraordinary heroism in action against an armed enemy. While operating in hostile territory, Private Hayes infiltrated a heavily defended enemy compound, located and rescued 3 American hostages, and secured critical intelligence leading to the arrest and conviction of a traitor within our ranks. Her actions exemplify the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon herself, the United States Army, and the Department of Defense. He placed the medal around her neck, saluted. Lena returned it. The crowd erupted in applause. 2,000 soldiers standing, clapping, honoring one of their own. Lena scanned the crowd, found Cross. He stood in the front row, tears streaming down his face. Not ashamed, not hiding, just proud. The way a father looks at a daughter who has grown into something remarkable. Next to Cross stood Ryan Mitchell, also in dress uniform, also crying, not trying to hide it either. When Lena met his eyes, he smiled, mouthed 2 words, "I love you." Lena felt something break open inside her chest, something that had been locked since Thomas Hayes died, since she decided that loving people meant losing them, since she built walls to keep the world out. She mouthed back, "I love you too." The ceremony continued. Mitchell received the Silver Star for his actions during the extraction. Sofia Navarro received the Intelligence Star, posthumous, awarded to foreign nationals who provide extraordinary intelligence support to the United States. Her name would be added to the memorial wall at CYA headquarters, anonymous to the public, remembered by those who mattered. After the ceremony, Cross found Lena, pulled her aside. They walked to the edge of the parade ground, away from the crowds, into the quiet. "Your father would have been here," Cross said. "Front row, probably embarrassing you by crying too loud." "Like you did?" Cross laughed. "Exactly like that." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the sun set over Fort Bragg, over the place where soldiers trained and bled and learned what they were made of. "I have something for you," Cross said. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a small box, wooden, worn, familiar. Lena recognized it immediately. Her father's rifle scope, the one Cross had given her before the Mexico mission, the one she had returned after. "I want you to have it," Cross said, "not because you need it, because he would want you to have it, to remember where you came from, to remember that you are his legacy, his last shot, the one that mattered most." Lena took the box, opened it. Inside, the scope gleamed, beside it, a note, in her father's handwriting. "Lena, be the shot, not the shooter. There is a difference. I love you, Dad." She closed the box, held it against her chest, let herself cry. Not sad tears, not happy tears, just tears. The kind that wash away old hurts and make room for new beginnings. Cross put his arm around her shoulders, the way he used to do with Emma, the way fathers do when words are not enough. "You know," Cross said quietly, "when Emma died, I thought I would never feel whole again. That part of me was gone forever, but you gave me something back. Not Emma. Nothing could replace her. But purpose, meaning, a reason to keep going. You saved my life," Lena said, "trained me, believed in me when no one else did. No, you saved mine. By letting me be what I needed to be. A father to someone who needed one. A mentor to someone worthy of mentoring. You gave me back my mission. Thank you for that." They stood together as the sun disappeared, as the base settled into evening quiet, as the world kept spinning and life kept happening, and somewhere Thomas Hayes and Emma and Sophia watched and smiled. 6 months later, Lena stood in a small church in Montana, the same church where Thomas Hayes was buried, where his funeral had been held 3 years ago, where Lena had promised to finish what he started. Today was different. Today was a beginning. Ryan Mitchell stood at the altar, dress blues, medals gleaming, nervous smile. The kind of nervous that comes from loving someone so much that the thought of losing them is worse than any enemy fire. Lena walked down the aisle. Simple white dress, no veil, no elaborate ceremony, just 2 people who had survived hell and decided to build something beautiful from the ashes. Cross walked beside her, giving her away, the way her father would have if he were still alive. When they reached the altar, Cross shook Mitchell's hand, whispered something only Mitchell could hear. Mitchell nodded, swallowed hard, took Lena's hand. The ceremony was brief, traditional. They exchanged vows that promised forever, even though they both knew forever was not guaranteed. Not in their profession, not in this world. But they promised anyway. Because hope was an act of defiance and love was the bravest thing either of them would ever do. The minister pronounced them married. Mitchell kissed Lena, not gentle, not tentative, like a man who had waited too long and would not waste another second. The small crowd applauded, friends, fellow soldiers, people who understood that happiness was hard-won and precious and deserved to be celebrated. At the reception, Cross gave a toast. To Lena and Ryan, two of the finest soldiers I have ever known, two of the finest people. May your aim always be true. May your courage never falter. And may you remember that the real mission is not what you fight against. It is what you fight for. He raised his glass to love, to honor, to the last shot that changes everything. Everyone drank. Lena stood, walked across, hugged him tight. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. Thank you, Cross replied, for letting an old soldier remember what matters. The reception continued into the night. Music, dancing, laughter. The kind of joy that only comes after darkness. The kind that knows its value because it was almost lost. Later, Lena and Mitchell stood outside, looking at the stars. The same stars that had watched over Mexico, over the compound, over Sophia's last stand. The same stars that had watched humanity struggle and survive and keep pushing forward. Do you think she is up there? Mitchell asked. Sophia? I do not know, Lena said honestly, but I hope so. I hope she found peace. I hope she found forgiveness. She found redemption. That is close enough. Lena leaned against her husband. The word still felt strange, foreign, but good, right, like something she had been missing without knowing it. What happens now, she asked. Mitchell smiled. Now we live, we serve, we build a life, we have kids maybe, teach them to shoot, tell them about their grandfather, about the woman who saved their mother, about all the people who made sacrifices so we could be standing here. That sounds perfect. It does. They stood together as the night grew deeper, as the stars wheeled overhead, as the world kept spinning toward tomorrow. 1 year later, Daniel Cross sat in his office, the same office where he had received the news about Emma, where he had read Thomas Hayes's letter, where he had planned the mission that saved Lena and destroyed Warren. On his desk, a new photograph. Lena and Mitchell, wedding day, smiling, alive, happy. Beside it, another photo, Lena in combat gear, Afghanistan, her first deployment as a fully qualified Delta operator, the first woman to achieve that distinction. Cross picked up both photos, studied them, saw Thomas Hayes in Lena's face, saw Emma's smile in the joy Lena radiated, saw all the people he had loved and lost reflected in the woman who had somehow become both redemption and hope. His phone rang, Lena's number. Sergeant Cross, she said, using the formal title even though she outranked him now. Even though she could call him Daniel or Cross or anything she wanted. I have news. Good news, I hope. The best. Ryan and I are having a baby, a girl. We want to name her Emma Sophia, after the two women who made everything possible. If that is okay with you. Cross closed his eyes, felt tears come, did not fight them. That is more than okay. That is perfect. We want you to be the godfather, to be part of her life, the way you were part of mine. I would be honored. They talked for a few more minutes about the baby, about deployment schedules, about the small, normal things that made life worth living. When the call ended, Cross sat in silence. He thought about Emma, about how she would have loved Lena, about how they would have been friends, sisters almost, about how life sometimes took things away, but sometimes gave things back in unexpected ways. He thought about Thomas Hayes, about promises made and kept, about legacies that outlived the people who built them. He thought about Lena, about the scared 19-year-old who had walked into selection carrying grief like a backpack full of stones, about the woman she had become, strong, capable, whole. And he thought about himself, about second chances, about how sometimes the people you save end up saving you right back. Cross stood, walked to the window, looked out at Fort Bragg, at the ranges where soldiers trained, at the parade ground where heroes were honored, at the place where boys and girls became warriors and warriors became legends. Somewhere out there, the next Lena Hayes was taking her first steps toward the crucible, carrying her own grief, her own determination, her own fire. Cross smiled. When she arrived, he would be ready to train her, to challenge her, to help her become whoever she was meant to be. Because that was the mission now, not fighting wars, not hunting enemies, just passing forward what had been given to him, teaching the next generation, making sure that Thomas Hayes and the Emma Crosses and the Sophia Navarros were remembered not just for how they died, but for how they lived. Cross returned to his desk, pulled out a blank piece of paper, started writing. Dear Lena, by the time you read this, Emma Sophia will be old enough to understand. Tell her about her namesakes. Tell her about the woman who gave up everything so her mother could live. Tell her about the girl I lost who made me remember how to love. Tell her that she carries their legacy, that she is proof that sacrifice matters, that heroism is real, that sometimes the good guys win. He paused, thought about what else needed to be said. Tell her that her mother was the bravest person I ever knew, that her father is a good man, that together they built something beautiful from ashes. Tell her to be strong, to be kind, to remember that the real mission is not what you fight against, but what you fight for. Cross signed the letter, sealed it, placed it in the drawer with all the other letters he had written to people he loved. Letters that said the things that needed to be said before time ran out and the words were trapped forever. Outside, the sun set over Fort Bragg. Another day ending, another day survived, another day added to the account of a life well lived. Daniel Cross stood at the window, watched the light fade, thought about daughters biological and adopted, about soldiers living and dead, about the long chain of sacrifice that stretched back through generations and forward into futures he would never see. And he felt, for the first time in years, something close to peace. The mission was complete, the enemy defeated, justice served, the good guys won. And sometimes in a world that rarely made sense, that was enough. Lena Hayes held her daughter for the first time on a Tuesday in March. Emma Sophia Mitchell, 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Perfect in every way that mattered. She had her mother's green eyes, her father's strong jaw, her grandfather's quiet strength. Ryan stood beside the hospital bed, exhausted, amazed, terrified. All the things new fathers feel when they realize their life just changed forever in the best and worst ways simultaneously. Cross arrived an hour later, carrying flowers and a teddy bear and a wooden box. The same box he had given Lena, Thomas Hayes's rifle scope. For when she is old enough, Cross said, to remember where she comes from, to know that she is part of something bigger. Lena took the box, set it beside the bassinet where Emma Sophia slept. Thank you for everything, for being here, for being you. Where else would I be? Cross smiled, looked down at the baby, saw the future looking back. She is beautiful. Thomas would have been proud, Emma too. I know. Cross stayed for an hour, held the baby, told stories about Thomas Hayes that made Lena laugh and cry no mind, about the time Hayes shot a bottle off a fence post at 800 meters in a windstorm, about the mission in Kandahar where Hayes talked a suicide bomber into surrendering just by being calm and reasonable, about the man behind the legend, the father, the friend, the soldier who never forgot that serving meant protecting, not just destroying. When Cross left, Lena sat alone with her husband and daughter, the three of them, a family built on the foundation of sacrifice and service and love that refused to quit. She thought about this journey, from Montana to Fort Bragg to Mexico and back, from grief to purpose to joy, from being Thomas Hayes's daughter to being her own person, from soldier to wife to mother. She thought about Sophia, about the woman who died so others could live, about redemption purchased in blood, about how sometimes enemies become allies and allies become legends. She thought about Cross, about the mentor who became a father, about second chances and chosen family, about how the people you save sometimes save you right back. And she thought about Emma, the girl she never met who made all of this possible, who gave Cross the capacity to love again, who proved that death did not end influence, that legacies lived in the people left behind. Ryan squeezed her hand. What are you thinking? That we are lucky, that we survived, that we get to be here, to have this, to build something good. We are lucky, Ryan agreed, but we also earned it. We fought for it, bled for it. That matters too. Emma Sophia stirred in her sleep, made small noises, the sounds of a new life beginning, of potential unlimited, of futures unwritten. Lena stood, walked to the window, looked out at the world, at North Carolina stretching into the distance, at the base where soldiers trained and served and sacrificed, at the place where her father had stood decades ago and decided that protecting people was worth dying for. She understood now, not the dying part, but the living part, the part that came after, the part where you took the pain and the loss and the grief and built something from it. Not a monument, not a memorial, just a life. Ordinary, extraordinary, yours. Lena touched the window, felt the cool glass, felt the world on the other side, waiting, ready, full of challenges and dangers and moments that would test everything she believed, but also full of love, of joy, of people worth fighting for. She turned back to her family, to Ryan holding their daughter, to the life they were building together. This was the last shot, not a bullet, not a target, just this moment, this choice, this decision to keep going, to keep loving, to keep fighting not against enemies, but for the people who mattered. Thomas Hayes had taught her to be the shot, not the shooter. She finally understood. The shot was clean, precise, purposeful. It hit what it aimed for and nothing else. The shooter carried everything else. The weight, the decision, the gusti, the love. Lena chose to carry it all. And in that choice, she won.